How's it going, guys? I hope you're doing well. We got a little bit of a different backdrop or station here for our video today. Very excited to be talking about this, and if it wasn't super obvious, I finally obtained a fingerboard park. My buddy Steve, who on Instagram you may know as Pure Joy, he is the guy who made the hot dog park for Sausage Fest. I had him build this for me, and I'm very, very stoked on how it came out. Today we are going to be doing the 1000 sub special, and I'm going to be showing you my entire fingerboard collection with just the professional stuff first. And then I'll do another part with all of my tech decks. But I thought this would be a cool little, setup to have everything right here, and you guys can see the park a little more. But I'm gonna go get those boards, and then we can get started. So, I wasn't lying when I said I had a lot. Now, before I get too deep into this, there is something that I gotta talk about that's a little bit serious. Nothing crazy. Beginning of this month, or the end of last month, I did end up leaving Chakra Fingerboards as a rider. I don't really need to go deeper into why I actually left Chakra. The reason itself actually matters to you. Just know that it was nothing with the quality of the product. It was nothing with Nate as a owner of the company and as a sponsoree, I guess you could use that word. I just thought that it was time to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that. Something to note is there's going to be a lot of Chakra decks in here. There is a lot of decks here in total though, so it is not just Chakra. I have 21 completes and about 55 loose decks. So we have a lot to go over today. So it's going to be a bit of a longer one. Grab yourself a drink or a snack, have a seat, and let's go over some crazy fingerboarding stuff. I'm gonna tilt you back down just a little bit, so you might not be able to see all of my face all of the time, but we're looking at boards and stuff like that. So that's really what this video is actually about. So we're gonna start with just decks. I did sort them out a little bit so that I have a better idea of what I'm looking at. A lot of these decks really have been just purchases down the road. This stack here is all Chakra, and then we have, some of my favorites and a stack here of very sentimental decks to me that might not be the nicest or might not be the most rare or anything like that, but they definitely mean something sentimental to me, and that's why I still hold on to them after all this time. Go ahead and take a look at the Chakra decks first. These in no particular order, so you're just going to be seeing what I pull out. This first one, a 29 millimeter that I had him do a wood burn of one of my favorite anime characters of Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm a very big anime fan, and JJK is one of my more recent faves. This next one is a 29 with Michael Myers on the front of it. Big fan of horror movies and stuff like that, and something that was really cool while I was on Chakra is Nate has that wood burner, and if I ever had any type of hyperfixation outside of fingerboarding, I could just be like, hey, would burn this onto a deck for me, and he would. So I have a lot of those, and you'll see that. A couple other ones too, so let's keep moving. This is a 36 of Gojo as well. This one might be hard to see, but it is a manga panel. Gojo laughing, saying, I'll kill you, or I'll murder you, but nonetheless. One of my faves that he ended up making me. I just honestly don't use 36s very often unless they're eggs, so it didn't get the love that it deserved. But next up we have a Captain Rex from Star Wars. This I really should have ended up asking him to do a blue bottom ply. I didn't really think about it until I got the deck and was like, wow, this looks sick, but blue bottom ply would have been better just because of Rex's helmet if you're a Star Wars fan, which I'm a very big Star Wars fan. We got some split plies next, which Nate does amazing split plies. If you have never seen any, this is an Eggy, big fan. This was one that I was using for a while. Awesome green and orange plies, or like turquoise and orange plies. This is a inspired off of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, and he actually wood burned in Tanjiro's face on the side there, which this deck is probably one of my favorites that I own. I unfortunately did not like the boxy mold very much, so it was a bit of a trial and error one for me, but the work that he put into this split ply and then also to just burn that in there, that was so sick. One of my favorite decks. Sweeper molds, which are the newest molds coming out from Chakra, so even though I'm not on the team anymore, you should definitely go pick these up. This is a great shape. I was using this every single day, and yeah, fantastic shape. This is a 29 that I was using that is very stickered. Big fan of stickering my boards, which you will find out very soon that you'll see a trend. Here is a 26 from Chakra. I personally have never been able to use 26s, so I had trucks on it for a very short period of time and just stopped using it because I can't do 26s. Here is a very awesome Chakra that does have a lot of significance for me. I posted about it on Instagram, I believe. This is a 1 of 1. So this is a Chakra deck, but it has a bloob graphic on it because Bloob and Nate have been talking a lot recently, and I don't really know the full context, but he ended up getting some graphics from Bloob and threw together a Chakra with the Bloob graphic on the bottom of it and sent it to me. So that's a super sick one. Next one, we have my pro model. I did have some, I can't remember what these are called. Board rails. I had some board rails on these. I haven't taken them off yet. I don't really know if I'm going to. So I don't really see myself using board rails. Egg of my pro model. Last 3 are all the girly graphic, because the girly graphic is one of my faves. As you can tell, if a board has a lot of stickers on it, I have used it quite a bit, and every single one of these is completely stickered to oblivion. One of my favorite things that fingerboarding does is parody graphics of skate companies, because before I fingerboarded and before I grew up and grew out, I skateboarded a lot. So I have a lot of love for skateboarding, and I still have my foot in the culture. So seeing the parody graphics from skateboarding is actually really sick. That was all of the Chakra. So now we're gonna get into the rest of what I got, which is a lot of sweet stuff. So we're gonna start with this stack here, which is an assortment of brands and stuff, but just purchases I've made. Nothing that like extremely sticks out. If I have anything to say about the deck itself, I will. But besides that, we're probably gonna rapid fire through a lot of these. So let's go. First, we have this very tiny and very adorable 26mm plastic deck from Dynamic. Next, we have, this is from Gonk Toys, collab with S skate shoes, which besides Nike SB, S is one of my favorites. I used to skate S's all the time, and they did this collab for the Accels. It was some kind of anniversary for the Accels, and those are one of my favorite skate shoes of all time, so I had to pick that up. Actually, no, I do have some good stuff mixed in here, never mind. This is an Alex Rogan pro model from Devise. Alex Rogan, probably one of my favorite fingerboarders of all time. Next, actually, I have a lot of good ones in here. This is from Kickflick. I bought this at Rendezvous last year. Actually, this year. I brought this at Rendezvous this year. Awesome board. I bought this literally because I liked the logo and I liked how much the actual artwork reminded me of like a metal album. Next one is such a bittersweet thing. I love this board so much, but I actually hate the deck. This is from Hana Boards. This is a Bulma graphic, and I am a massive fan of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, literally everything Dragon Ball. But I do not like Hana's boards. And my biggest issue with Hana is just the wheelbase. It's incredibly small. So for me, I can't really use it. It's gonna stay looking beautiful like how it's been. I'm a big fan of it. The board was given to me at Rendezvous by Cliff. This is from the Fingerboard Factory. I really like this one. I believe this is a 29, maybe a 30. And it has this really cool like pointed shovel nose. Really, really sweet board. We've got one that was sent to me from Fingerbob. He said this is more of like a old Berlin wood style board, and I like it a lot. Definitely looks like a paper graphic, which is cool. I like the graphic a lot. Very, very cool, but my favorite is this top ply and this top ply stamp. Really sweet. I think this is an awesome board. I have a 29mm from Brewski. This is an awesome board. It has that BB Co logo embossed into the deck. Awesome board. I got this for spending way too much money at BB Co one time. I think I spent like $100 some, and he threw in a deck, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. This next one I actually like a lot. This is from UMF, and I actually believe this was a collab with Bloob. I was told it was collab with Bloob. I don't really know myself, but beautiful, beautiful board. I really like the like foil bottom. It honestly really makes me think of like trading cards, like Pokemon and stuff like that. This one's very old. This one is probably one of the first boards that I got getting back into fingerboarding in 2021. This is a Bloob that I won in a giveaway, and I loved this board. I love it so much, and as soon as the graphics started to wear a little bit, I had to stop because I am a massive fan of moths, I love moths very much, and with the like Death's Head moth, and I think that's a Spanish moon moth and whatnot on there. I love this board. So this is one of my favorites out of everything that I have, just because it was very early in me getting back into fingerboarding for the second time. And not a lot of people do moth decks. So if you're a deck company out there, do more moth graphics because they're freaking cool. Next up, this one's also really sweet. This is from Greasy Fingerboards. This is actually a Canada brand that doesn't exist anymore. And I did the trade for this literally just because it has Biggie on it. Biggie is one of my favorite rappers of all time. I'm not a huge rap fan, but Biggie, Denzel Curry, BLP Kosher as of late, those guys absolutely kill it, and I love it. We have this massive egg from Spork Fingerboards. I believe this is like a 38 or a 39, and there's really sweet board rails on there. I like this board a lot. It is very, very cool. And honestly, like, I might not use like 36 and up popsicles, but eggs just feel super different. Like, this does not feel like an almost 40 millimeter deck just because it's an egg. I don't know what the difference is, but it's really cool. This next board I got at Sausage Fest. For the life of me, I cannot remember who made it. I do know that I quoted it in the Sausage Fest like video, the vlog that I did. If you want to know who made this, go check out the Sausage Fest video, because I, for the life of me, can't remember who made it. Just a couple more of this pile. This next one is a 30 millimeter from Stoned Decks. Big fan of this graphic, huge Pokemon fan. Been a fan of Pokemon for a very long time. Last three are all copies of Heroin Skateboards decks from Close Up. These I ended up trying out because they were super cheap, but honestly, not really a big fan of any of these. Honestly, the ones done by Chems and Goo are so much better, and they're also like legal. So I definitely recommend those over these, because the graphic came off of this one super easy, and yeah, not as good. Got this final line here, and then a stack here of all my sentimental ones. So I'm gonna just start from over here. This is from Doom Lagoon. This is from Rendezvous 35. This is the graphic for his trading cards that he did. I can't remember the name, but it is an awesome board. You can see the Vu 35 stamp there. Next, I have this really, really sweet board from Bully Boards. He specializes in this abalone bottom ply. This thing is beautiful. I have never seen an abalone bottom ply from a company before, and actually really like it. I think it looks sweet. It's a really refreshing idea, and I used this one a little bit. The kicks and the mold were a little too high for me, but still really solid. If you like this abalone bottom ply and a high kick board, check out Bully Board on Instagram. They're pretty sweet. Next up, we got two from a very, very great company. I met the guy who makes these decks at Rendezvous 35, or well, technically at FBCon in the hotel, and super great dude. And met him again at Sausage Fest, and he's a great dude. He makes awesome boards. These are Cryptic. I absolutely love this deck. It reminds me a lot of like Thousand Eyes Restrict or Relinquished from Yu-Gi-Oh! Super sweet board. And then this one is a like wrestling style board, jumping off those top ropes. If I recall correctly, I think this might be John Cowart art, but I might be wrong. This is a sweet board. I really like this shape. It's like kind of eggy, but also kind of old school because the nose is rounded off, but the tail's a little flat. I like this a lot. This is a sweet board. Next board I also got at Rendezvous 35. I got this from Jordan, who runs Arizona Finger Skate. This board is sweet. I saw this board and I was just like, this is just my spirit animal. This tubby little freaking trash panda and these bubbles and that red bottom ply and red top ply with the Arizona Finger Skate stamp. This is a sick board. This is a very low mold, so I am very in the middle with my molds. Should try and use this again though, because I have been feeling a low mold knife lately, so I'll probably set this up again soon. I have Chems. This Chems board is probably one of the best boards I've ever used. This is a mid-pro 36 by 96. I got this quite a while ago, and I shredded it to infinity. If it's not obvious, there used to be a full Grim Reaper graphic like this on here, but it is totally gone now because I absolutely shredded it. This is one of my favorite boards that I own. This is the Deli and Chems collab. Not a big fan of the plastic Deli decks just because of there being a little bit of a different feeling compared to wood. So not for me, but could be for you. Next one we have is a Mid Pro 35 by 96 by Chems, Eggy, this cool dragon graphic. Next up we have Awful, which a lot of you I'm sure are very familiar with Awful. I have this, I don't really know what he called it, but this is Shelley Duvall from The Shining. I have Chris's second model. I love Foo graphic with the, inspired off of Luigi's Mansion. Such a sweet graphic. Last not set up Awful I have is the Bro model that I got at Rendezvous 35. Tom Penny did the Cheech and Chong board for Flip, and then Daywan and Tori Pudwill did the rip of that on Thank You, and now we have the Bro model and fingerboarding that is a rip of both of them, and I love it. It's such a cool thing. Get to this last stack, which this last stack is, you guys know I love knife. I've been a huge fan of knife for a while. Here is a knife. This is a 35 in their OG shape, I believe. This is from one of their very first drops. I think this might have been second or third drop. This is their actual like signature knife shape. They haven't done this one in quite a while, and I don't know why, but this is a fantastic shape. It actually works really well, even though this nose is super pointy. This next board is one of my favorites, and I say that about a lot of stuff, obviously, but I actually really wish I didn't open this one up. This is the Hand of Doom from Knife. I'm a big fan of this deck. I put a sticker on it, and I had it set up for about a day, and then took it back off because I did not want anything to happen to it. I am a big fan of this graphic. This is quite an early one that they've done a few drops of since. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of this. Last stack of boards we got here, super important to me for a bunch of different reasons, and I'll explain as I go through them. First two are actually boards from technically my first board sponsor, not Chakra. I very briefly was on a team before that called Bust Down Boards. Biggie, if you're out there watching the videos, I appreciate you. These are the two boards that I still have from that. Next board I have is one of the first completes that I got coming back into fingerboarding. This is a DK. It's obviously not complete anymore. I'm pretty sure this is one of the first 34s I used coming back into fingerboarding because everything was 33 and under when I first started fingerboarding in 2017. There wasn't a lot of, anything bigger than 33. I got this because I wanted to try a bigger board. I ended up really loving it, and I still to this day say that DK makes one of the best, if not the best, budget fingerboarding complete that you can get. You can get this with trucks and wheels for like $30-some. It arrives ridiculously fast. If you're new into fingerboarding and need a complete, get a DK. This was sent to me from the homie FB Chris. It's a deck that his wife had been working on that he was sending out to people to let them try out. I ended up putting this cool little World Industries sticker on there, and I love the little split ply and this really cool Fox stamp there. And this was actually really solid for a first starting out. And I think it's super cool when you can bring your spouse into the fingerboarding world as well. I'm trying to do the same with my wife, and it's not working, but we'll see. I'll break her down eventually. These last two boards are incredibly important to me. I don't think these will ever leave my collection. I don't think anybody's ever gonna want them because they're very shredded, but these two mean a lot to me. So this board here is a flat face G15, and this is the first fingerboarding gift I had ever received. This was from my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. And I love this Rick and Morty style flat face logo. And yeah, it was kind of the start of everything. This was all the way back in 2018, I think, was when she got me this. I'm not gonna tell anybody about it, but I have an old Instagram that is still out there that has clips of when I got this. Last one is the first pro fingerboard I had ever bought. This is a Berlin wood, and if you can even tell what graphic it is, because it's absolutely shredded. Kind of kickstarted everything. I'm pretty sure I still had really crappy trucks and really crappy wheels, but having a Berlin wood was super, super sick. First piece, and I love it. Before we move to completes, there are two that I just have to bring out that I still have packaged. This first one is from Desert Storm. He sent me one of the boards that I have set up that you'll see then, and then this one. And he told me that this board is actually screen printed, And I really like screen printed boards, and something about this one, I just want to keep it sealed. I really like the graphic. I really like his packaging with that little rip on Tech Deck. This next one is the Sausage Fest board for the event. Graphic is absolutely beautiful. I'm actually pretty sure this is the first time I've ever taken it out of this bag because it's been hanging on my corkboard since. But you have the Sausage Ramps Knobles 2024. One of the only, I actually think this is the only Pennsylvania fingerboard event that I've been to. It was massive, it was a great time, and yeah, this board is a lot of sentimental value. I'm gonna move all of this out of the way, and the last thing we're gonna get to is all of the completes. These are all my completes. Like I said, I have 21. I don't use all of them. I use probably the same 5 right now. The rest of them I have together because I really like them. I like to pick them up once in a blue moon. One of these in here is not what I would consider a pro fingerboard, but it has a specific meaning to me, and it has trucks and wheels on it. So I just lumped it in here. Some of these, like these here, they don't have grip tape on them. Some of them I just leave grip tape off because if I grip a deck and then end up not using it, the grip just dry rots. There's not really a point to have it on there. So if I end up using it, I'll throw a piece of grip on there and start using it, but some of these I just don't have any grip on. I'm gonna start at the end and move towards the case. The first one we have here, this is the one I was talking about where I don't really consider this a pro fingerboard, but it has trucks and wheels on it. This is actually a fingerboard for a metal band that I really like, that a merch company called Indie Merch did a drop of fingerboards for a bunch of metal bands, and I thought it was one of the coolest things I had ever seen. And it kind of just means some pretty insane things for fingerboarding and where it's going. Especially my favorite music genre, it has fingerboarding on the mind. Like, that's just nuts to me. So this is from Despised Icon, one of my favorite deathcore bands. I was very stoked to be able to pick this up. I think there's a bunch of other ones that are still in stock that I want to go back and get more, because there was like Die Artist Murder, Peeling Flesh, and some other ones like that, Signs of the Swarm and whatnot. So some really big deathcore, death metal style bands that I really want to pick up from. So I might go and get more. Next, 6. These next 6 are all my Heroin skateboards and Chems or Goo collab decks. All of these have hex trucks on them except for the Eggzilla, which has caramels on it, and then the rest of them have varying wheels that I'll tell you. This first one is the Fried Egg 3, which has abstract wheels on it. I love how the abstract wheels match with the egg. A lot of these Heroin decks, I don't use a ton just because of the rarity, but I like to set them up every now and then and use them. So this is the Bailgun Gary. It has dual core cartwheels on them. This is a beautiful board. I love the purple ply. This board is absolutely stunning, and if I wasn't afraid of messing it up, I would skate this thing probably every day. This is a split ply razor egg from Chems. Absolutely stunning. This board is one of my favorites in my collection, which I've been saying that a lot. I have the Anatomy of a Wide Boy. This is the yellow bottom ply. I love this board. It's a 36 and it has maple wheels on it. I think these are Ultra Swirls or something along those lines. This is the Swampy's Wide Boy. This has green cord cartwheels on it. This is like a 40mm deck. This thing is beautiful. And I put some grip on there to try and like match the green vibe, but I didn't do super good because I had to use a razor for it. Last, for the Heroin decks, this is the Eggzilla. This is from the first drop. I did the video for this and everything. This actually has Slush Cult Ill Pills on it, which these are pretty rare. I think there's only been 1 or 2 drops of these, at least the colorful version. But this board is insane. I think it skates really well for it being a like 40mm deck. I think even bigger than 40. I think it might be like 42 or something. Probably the most expensive piece in my collection. The amount of people who tried to message me after I made that video asking to buy it was insane. Please stop doing that. If you see anything from this video and you want to buy it, hit up the person who makes it, not me. Just saying. Next up, we're moving on to Chems. This one is a 37x96 mid-pro. This has the blue teak wheels that I did the teak wheel video on. This is an awesome board. I love this pink and black graphic for chems. This is absolutely stunning. This has white base dynamics, and these are abstracts. So awesome setup. This is another favorite of mine from my chem stuff. This is Bubble Letter. I think it's just called Bubble Letter. This is a 33x96 low pro, and it has the deli trucks on it from the video. And these are Maple and Chem's collab wheels. I am a massive fan of this setup. I use this thing a lot. This is an awesome board. We have a couple one-ofs before we finish up with my big brands that I use the most, which Chems is one of them, but for some reason I put these in the middle. I don't know why I did this, but we have some one-ofs. This is a Bloob, and I absolutely love this board. This is the Bloob that I put the wheels on for Bloob for the video, and it still has the Bloob wheels on it. These are some flat face dynamics, and I love this setup. This is a great setup. This adorable little thing is a collab between Alien Outpost and TP Decks, which is from Pennsylvania. Shout out TP. This has hex trucks and some mini abstracts. This thing is freaking adorable. I would assume it's probably like 84, something like that, versus like a 96 for a normal setup. But this thing is super fun. I can never do anything on it, but this one is my sausage ramps sausage deck. This has SE dynamics and some white ill pills. This thing is like a 33x99 or something. This thing is massive. This is the Desert Storm that I was talking about earlier that was sent to me from my dude who runs the company. Really big fan of this board. One of my dogs is drinking. Pause for a second. This is the Desert Storm. I like this board a lot. I think these ill pills look sweet, and this also has SE dynamics on it. So this next board was probably my most used until I recently regressed back into my 34mm phase for some reason. This is my 32mm Awful. I love this board. I'm a massive fan of Donnie Darko, which is where that rabbit is from. This is the high mold. I have BRTs as well as some black Formula 2 dude guys. Kind of a Frankenboard. I don't really have anything on this that's on it specifically. It's just like a placeholder because I don't want to not have this board set up, but I don't have anything that I think really looks good on it, so I think the setup kind of looks ugly. It is a 34mm knife. I absolutely adore this board and I want to use it more, but I just need to buy things to use it. This currently has white BRTs, and then the second run, or actually I think probably third or fourth run at this point, of Daytona Records wheels. This is a sweet board. Let me know what you think about this with these white BRTs and these Daytonas here, because I'm not a huge fan of it, but seeing it in the reflection of the camera, it's kind of hitting. So let me know what you think about this setup, because kind of like it. Next up, this is a very, very cool one. I love this board. I wish it had a little more kick to it, but this is a 34mm knife. This is one of the Cowply like collab decks that they did. I have some blue flat face dynamics, and these are Pyro Performance wheels. I absolutely adore this setup. I think it's beautiful, and yeah, I am a big fan of this one. The mold and the shape is very low. There's like borderline no concave, and I usually really like concave. So this one sits in the back burner a lot, but if I ever end up starting to like low molds, this is going to be the first deck that I end up using. Last but certainly not least, we are going to take a look at my mains that I've been using as of late, which I'm not on Chakra anymore, so I can use whatever boards I want. So, two of them, probably not going to be a surprise. The other two, definitely going to be a surprise. Not because of it being a bad company or anything, but because of you probably never hearing of them, which you definitely should. So I'm going to give them a little bit of shout out in this video because I've been kind of overwhelmed with how good these boards are. First two we're going to take a look at are my knives that I've been using. This is a 35mm knife in the eggy, I think it's called like KC1 or KB1, I don't really know. It's their egg style mold. This has 34mm BRTs and some Black River Edition flat face wheels. This board is stunning. This is actually a 3 of 12 that I got at Rendezvous 35. And I actually wasn't going to use it, but I ended up loving it so much that I ended up setting it up, and I haven't regretted it since. This board is fantastic. I love this mold and this shape. 35 is a little big, but like I said earlier, when it's an egg, it doesn't really feel like a 35. Next up was my main until I got these new boards. So this is a knife, I believe this is a 34 millimeter. I have no idea what this graphic is called, but I have 34 millimeter BRTs and some abstract bull wheels, which I am loving these bull wheels and I need to get more, but I love this graphic. I think it's weird and cool. These bowls from Abstract are fantastic. This setup has been my main up until last week when I got these two new boards, which I'll show you in a minute. But this setup is fantastic. It is very fun. I like the shape a lot. This is the OG knife shape, so it's got a more rounded nose and then a stubbier tail. Decent kicks, nothing too crazy. This is how I like my kicks. This is like perfect for me. I love this setup so much. But in these last two are the new boards that I probably haven't heard of. I actually won these in a giveaway. So even more surprising is that I won these in a giveaway and wasn't expecting to, I wouldn't say I wasn't expecting to like them, but I wasn't expecting them to impress me as much as they have. So these two decks are from a company called Sample. I have been absolutely loving both of these. This first one I have 32 millimeter BRTs and some Daytona Records wheels, and this is a split ply that is absolutely stunning. Looks very Baker, which not a huge deal. I get a little tired of the Baker blocks thing, but as a split ply, makes it a little more fancy. And this very last board, and the very last board that we're going to be taking a look at today, is, I don't know the name of the Gundam character. It looks like it's on the board, it might be RX-78. But this is a Gundam style graphic. I have some black hanger dynamics and some yellow face joy cults, which this board is stunning. And this board I have been using every single day since I got it, which I think was maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. And this was what I won in the giveaway, was this full complete. And I set this up immediately and absolutely fell in love. The only thing that I changed was I swapped out the stock dynamic bushings for rattlers from Slush Cult. I have been also learning that rattlers are better on inverted trucks than normal Kingpin trucks, because I was using them on BRTs and I wasn't a fan, but they're hitting really good on this setup. This board is awesome. There is just something about this setup that I have been loving so much. Even the kicks are a little steeper than I normally like, but there's something about this board that has just been hitting. I really, really like it. I had never tried one before. I just joined the giveaway because I wanted to try them and ended up really enjoying them. So this is definitely a deck and a company to watch out for, because he's killing it. That's everything. That took a little while. Appreciate you guys for checking out this video. I'm super stoked about my park. I'm stoked that if you hung around and saw the entire collection. It's very fun to do, to just sit down and talk about the bunch of stuff that I have seen and owned in my time while I've been fingerboarding. Love how much personality collections have, because you go from one person to another person, the collection's going to be completely different. So I had a lot of fun making this video, and this is just the first part. I'm going to be doing a tech deck collection as well. If you like tech deck collections and big tech deck collections, because I've had tech decks for quite a long time, and tech decks from multiple different generations of the brand, I have that video up too. But anyway, thank you guys for 1,000 subs, almost 1,200 at this point now, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later.